Chapter 64. The darkness was thick. Lily leaned against the wall, looking at the dark warehouse. Her eyes were hazy. The moon tonight was very bright, casting handfuls of silver light into the window, cutting the space into a dimly lit box, strangely eerie. She didn't know what effect that medicine had, but she felt that it was quietly spreading without any warning. It was strange. She was thinking about Olivia and Theodore, and also about her father from a long time ago, and even remembering the extremely stupid Vivian. Actually, wasn't she very happy back then? Her mother spoiled her, her younger brother treated her well, Vivian also protected her, but why wasn't such a good life hers? Why did the real granddaughter of the Beaumont family appear around her, reminding her of her nightmares every day? If she had known, she would have pushed Serafina down the mountain to her death during the spring outing, and there would be no more scenes of her true identity being revealed. It wasn't bad living in the Ashford family, but she was still known as an illegitimate child. No matter what she did, she was not as legitimate as Vivian, so why was she the one who always suffered? This life had wronged her first. A painful and itchy desire rose up in her body. She twisted on the ground instinctively, letting out a series of unpleasant groans. After going through this torment, she felt humiliated like never before. The world was silent, even the men standing guard were silent, like statues. The surroundings were deathly silent, until one moment, from the warehouse door came the sound of intermittent footsteps. In the empty space it sounded even more terrifying. She raised her head to look. It was Serafina. Serafina leaned on her cane. In the moonlight, her white dress was even more dazzling. Her hair was blown up by the night wind, then fell down in a mess. The darkness made her face even whiter. In the moonlight it even looked as pale as a corpse. She stared at Lily as soon as she entered. Serafina's eyes were pitch black, bottomless. Even standing right under the moonlight, there was not even the slightest ray of light. Lily didn't know why she felt cold, and unconsciously stepped back. For the first time in her life, she saw Serafina and was as scared as if she had seen a ghost, just scared. A second later, when she looked down and saw the gun in her hand, Lily was even more scared, and a few sobs escaped her throat. The group in black standing next to her walked over, their voices hesitant. Sister-in-law. Serafina was indifferent. You guys go out first. Those people looked at each other, and finally went out. Lily saw this, and felt even more uneasy. Struggling desperately, Serafina bent down and pulled the rag out of her mouth. She immediately screamed, "What are you going to do?" Megan realized that something was wrong and struggled too. Serafina's face was cold as she pulled off the blindfold and gag. Megan saw her and was about to scold her, but when she saw the gun she was holding, her face immediately lost all color. "What do you want to do?" Serafina tilted her head, calmly looking at the two people. "My mother is dead. I want to find some people to bury with her." Lily was startled, her eyes flashed with pain and disbelief, her voice trembling. "What did you just say?" "Oh?" Serafina's voice was very slow and very soft, mixed with surprise. "Are you sad? Why did mother die?" Lily suddenly shouted, wanting to rush forward, but was pulled back by the chain. "You lied to me, you lied. Lily, regardless of whether you did it yourself or not, this matter is all thanks to you, right?" Serafina looked down at her. "When you touched Aunt Jane's car, you should have thought about it. The other people in the house like Grandma, Mom, Theodore could all be sitting in that car. Didn't you think about that? Who are you suffering for now? Mom is dead, she won't come to see you're pretending." Lily's eyes welled up with tears, heartbroken, but more than anything, unwilling. Why did she die? Why did God help you? In the end, where am I inferior to you? Why do I always lose? The one who killed her wasn't me, it must have been you, it was all because of you. Why wasn't it you who died? Megan was also vicious, sitting to the side, not caring about life or death, and joined in the defense. "She's dead, why are you looking for us? That's her fate." So, while she was speaking, a gunshot rang out, shaking the entire warehouse, mixed with a miserable cry of awe. Megan's thigh was shot, blood gushing out. She was in so much pain that she couldn't do anything but roll left and right, lying on the ground, tilting her head up to the sky, and screaming miserably. Lily was startled. She turned around, glared at Serafina, and almost hissed. What right do you have to shoot my mother? This is your fault. If you hadn't appeared, our whole family would have lived very happily, no one would have had any problems, no one would have died. It's all because you came back, turned the Smith group upside down like that, and that's why we're in this situation today. Before you were here, Mom and I were very harmonious. Why did you come back? Someone like you should die on the street. Think about it seriously, since you moved back home, have you been close to Mom? Was Mom ever happy? Now that Mom's dead, you're looking for me to get angry, what right do you have? What right do I have? Serafina stepped forward, grabbed Lily's hair, and pulled it hard, holding the muzzle of the gun to her neck. The gun had just been fired, the muzzle was still hot, Lily felt like a cigarette but was pressed against her body, her hair was pulled painfully, she didn't dare to move. She was afraid that Serafina would suddenly get excited and shoot. She was afraid of death. What do I have to rely on? Just because you took my life for 18 years, I suffered for you for 18 years, you don't know what's good for you and still want to get even with me. Lily, have you ever thought, if you just changed your personality a little, didn't hate, didn't think that the whole world owed you, didn't help outsiders bite back the Beaumont family, then the Beaumont family would still be your family? It's you who are narrow-minded and want to take everything, you refuse to live in peace, step by step harming the Beaumont family, and you say you were forced. Who forced you? Stop making excuses. Lily choked, Serafina, even if you kill me, Mother won't be able to come back to life. Megan beside saw this and cried even more miserably, ignoring the gunshot wound on her thigh, crawled closer, pulled Serafina's leg and continuously begged. I was wrong. It was my fault, kill me, spare her, spare my daughter. Kill me. 1,000 mistakes are all my fault, I shouldn't have switched you, I shouldn't have abused you, I was wrong, I'm sorry. Kill me, spare my daughter. She finally admitted her mistake? But it was too late. Serafina pushed hard, Lily fell to the ground, as if she had been pardoned, she hurriedly hid in her mother's arms, afraid of tears. The mother and daughter hugged each other and cried desperately. Looking at the two, Serafina suddenly remembered the moment her mother protected her. It seemed that someone had said that the difference between good people and bad people is that when faced with the pain of others, bad people will give birth to a perverted pleasure, while good people will feel pity and sympathy. Serafina, she was no longer a good person, but why wasn't she happy? She was silent, under the moonlight, her gloomy face was almost transparent, like a ghost. Calmly looked at her for a long time before saying, Lily, where is William? Lily gritted her teeth. I didn't expect a woman like you to be so stubborn. But you didn't think that William ran away without taking you with him, perhaps your position in his heart isn't that important. There's more than just feelings between me and him. Lily sneered, whether she said it or not, the outcome would be miserable, so she might as well answer and deal with Serafina, but she really felt that she was very pitiful, even William, whom she had sacrificed everything to get, didn't treat her well, but Serafina had a man who was devoted to her. That's unfair. She couldn't let them live in peace. Serafina saw that she didn't say anything, looked at her for a while, and suddenly smiled. She raised her gun, walked along Megan's body and climbed up. Lily, every time I ask you, if you don't answer, I'll shoot her. Lily was so scared that her face contorted. Serafina, you crazy person, you will get your retribution. Another gunshot rang out, Lily let out a miserable scream, her calf was already covered in blood. Sorry, I forgot just now, my leg is broken, I'll give you back a part of it. The gun in Serafina's hand was still smoking, behind the thin layer of smoke, her face was unusually sad. I'll ask you a second time, where is William? Her gun was aimed at Megan's ankle. Megan was scared out of her wits, she cried out and shouted at Lily, tell her. She's crazy, she's crazy. Lily bent over and pressed down on the broken bone, the pain was so great that she almost fainted, but she didn't know how to open her mouth. Serafina's face darkened, just as she was about to pull the trigger, someone approached from behind, she turned around in surprise, pointed the gun at the person in front of her, and saw Harrison's arrogant face. She was like a frightened animal, looking at him warily, completely surrounded in a state of alertness. Serafina, he calmly and gently reached out his hand, slowly approaching her. Listen to me, put down the gun. She clenched and stretched out her hand to hold the gun, but remained motionless. He approached her step by step. Serafina, put down the gun. She looked at him in shock, her hand gradually drooped, but when he was about to touch her, she suddenly turned around. I want to kill her. Serafina. In a flash, a gunshot rang out. He rushed forward to hug her. The bullet aimed at Lily's head hit the wall, making a loud bang. Lily's face was burned into a streak by the bullet. She screamed even louder. The bullet had penetrated too deeply. This half of her face was definitely completely destroyed. Let go. Serafina suddenly exploded with emotion, struggling to shoot again, but both hands were held tightly by him, unable to move. The stick fell to the ground, she lost her balance, and fell into his arms. She was held tightly by him, struggling was useless. In the end she could not control the pain that had been pent up for so long, painfully crying, let go, I want to kill them, I want to avenge my mother, I want to avenge my mother. Ah! She cried as if her heart was breaking, miserably and helplessly struggling desperately in his arms, but how could her weak body compete with his strength? Her cries were like knives stabbing into his heart. He tried to hold her, his heart aching, but he refused to let go. He could not let her kill someone, could not let her hands be stained with blood. He had tried before, so he understood very well. Killing someone with her own hands would not make her happy, but would only leave her with a heavier nightmare. After killing someone, her pure heart would never return. She was still very weak. After the emotional outburst she didn't have much strength left. She soon lay still, just crying, crying until her whole body trembled, crying until her heart was broken. He took off the gun, turned her around, and hugged her tightly. She buried her head in his chest, still crying in pain. Serafina. He bowed his head very low, pressing it against her trembling wet cheek. Serafina, trust me, I will definitely help you get revenge, definitely. On the way back, Serafina in Harrison's arms kept crying, as if she was made of water, so the tears kept flowing endlessly, wetting his shirt, just like his heart right now, heavy, heartbroken, and painful to the point of helplessness. In the end, how could he make her well again? These past few days, he had been by her side, putting everything else aside, only she was the most important. That's right, before he only thought she was a good girl, someone he could get along with, and in other aspects she was considered worthy of him, much better than going on a blind date or randomly finding a girl, so they were together. He also knew that although they both appeared comfortable when they were together, at the crucial moment, each of them put on their own masks. He thought that this was the way they lived together. But on the bridge on the night of the Macau storm, when she leaned on his chest and said she felt very well protected, it seemed like a certain line of defense in his heart was gradually collapsing. And now, although she was silent and didn't say a word, she always had to hold his hand to sleep. He just realized that although she didn't say anything, she trusted him very much. He always thought that leaving Macau was safe, but the moment he heard the news of the accident, he just knew that he had to hold her at all times. If she died, what would he do? Actually, he had already fallen in love with her. But how could he save this tragic girl? After returning, she quickly fell asleep, still wanting him to hold her to feel at ease and sleep. But unlike the past few days, this time when she slept, her expression was extremely uneasy. Even in her dreams her brows were tightly furrowed, her eyes were filled with tears, her eyelashes were always wet. She looked pitiful, helpless, like a young animal without a mother. He stayed up all night, unable to help but think, after this crying, would her mood improve? He kept thinking like that until the sky was about to light up, then he fell asleep. Unexpectedly, he slept soundly until noon. His biological clock was very accurate. This was something that had never happened before. When he woke up and opened his eyes, he suddenly felt strangely refreshed. She was still there, still gently and obediently nestled in his arms. The sunlight was blocked by the white curtains. The light in the room was just right, not too bright nor too dark. Her sleeping face was more peaceful than yesterday, although there were still tears, but there was no more pain between her eyebrows. He couldn't help but lean over and kiss her eyes. Immediately after that, her eyelashes rubbed against his lips, making them itchy. She woke up. He felt a little guilty, kissed her cheek. Did I wake you up? No, she pouted, rubbed her slightly swollen eyes, and after a long while looked at him, just waking up, so she was a bit stubborn. Harrison, I'm hungry. He suddenly cheered up, immediately stood up, hurriedly told someone to bring him porridge, and supervised her eating each bite. She pushed a bowl in front of him. You haven't eaten anything for days. He smiled. I'm not hungry. Liar. She glared at him, scooped a spoonful of porridge and brought it to his mouth. Do you still need me to feed you? Are you a child? He was a little surprised, his expression looked embarrassed. He obediently lowered his head to swallow the porridge, then took the spoon from her hand, and fed himself. He was in no mood to eat, but suddenly heard her say, Last night I dreamed of my mother. He was stunned, looked up at her, and saw her put down the spoon, her expression very serious. My mother took me out for a walk, bought me a lot of nice things. She also said that she hoped that after I became a famous screenwriter, I would write another movie for her. Speaking of this, she picked up the spoon, scooped a spoonful of porridge, and pursed her lips, still childish and vain like that. He looked at her calm expression, and couldn't help but feel a little worried. So do you feel any better? She mumbled, taking a bite of porridge in her mouth. Half a moment later, she said, Mom said life must go on. Moreover, she's still breathing now, and she's not leaving because she's worried about me. I want to live happily, so that Mom can be happy too, so that Mom can rest assured. Seeing her so serious and determined to encourage herself, he didn't know what to say for a moment. He could only hold her hand, and that small hand also held his hand tightly. Harrison, she looked at him, her eyes filled with tenderness. Thank you for being with me these past few days. I'm heartbroken. You're heartbroken with me. I should have gotten rid of it sooner. He gently stroked her thin hand, not responding. After a while, he said, just leave their matters to me, okay? Live your life happily. I won't let them appear in your life anymore. I know. She nodded, adding another sentence, thank you. Finally, she suddenly slowed down. Our engagement is only 2 weeks away, right? He looked down at the ground. I'll postpone it. Don't. She became stubborn, interrupting him. I don't want the path we've decided to take to be affected by those hateful people. I don't want my life to be affected by them anymore. Besides, she absent-mindedly lowered her voice, Mom will see. But what she was actually worried about was that there wasn't much time left. He calmly took a breath, suddenly feeling lucky that he had finally kept her. I'm just afraid that you need more time to recover. If you feel like you can continue, then we'll just follow the plan we've drawn up. Yes. She nodded vigorously, her whole body filled with spirit, like a soldier about to carry a gun to the battlefield. After eating, she washed her face and combed her hair, changed her clothes, and let him drive her to the Smith Group. She had a hard time making a decision. Of course she had to hurry to see her younger brother. Theodore was sitting in the office reading documents. It had been many days since they had seen each other. He had lost a little weight, a trace of sadness appeared on his forehead, but he was still as strong as ever. Hearing the door open, he raised his head. Through a patch of afternoon sunlight, the two looked at each other, and for a moment, all was a faint sadness. Are you feeling better? He immediately put down the documents, ran over, and squatted down in front of her wheelchair. Before she could say anything, he held her hand, squeezing it tightly as if to give her strength. Serafina, don't be sad anymore. You must know that our mother was happy and willing to save you. You still have mother's life on you, you must live well for her. He looked at her intently, encouraging her. We both have to live better, live comfortably and happily, only then will Mommy be happy, right? She didn't expect him to be able to say such comforting words to her and himself, both moved by the fact that her younger brother had truly grown up, and also strengthened her determination not to become a burden to him. She nodded vigorously, yes, we both have to become Mommy's pride. He saw her strong appearance, and felt somewhat reassured, gently placing his hand on the plaster cast on her thigh. Does it still hurt? It's much better. She shook her head, explaining more clearly, just now Harrison asked the doctor to examine me, saying that the cast can be removed soon. That's good. I hope the scar isn't too obvious, she smiled, otherwise I won't be able to wear a short skirt at the engagement ceremony. He was stunned. Engagement ceremony? She nodded. Mom can leave at any time, I have to hurry, let her go to rest in peace. He held her hand. Okay, no matter what you do, I will support you unconditionally.